Welcome to the At Homeish podcast, creating spaces where we belong. I want to take a quick moment because I don't know if I do it enough. I want to shout out our producer sitting over there in the corner. You can't see him because we don't do video. But I took an opportunity today to listen to a couple of previous episodes. And if you're like me, I don't really like listening to my voice. You know, when I was younger, they had these things called answering machines. We had a little tape in it and whatnot. And you like listen to your voice. And I hated hearing my voice. Now, when I listen to the podcast that Trent produces, does the mastering, the editing, I'm like, oh, dang, that sounds good. And so I want to shout out Trent and Red Trucks, the Homeish Podcast Network, because there's a lot of work that goes behind what you're actually hearing. And I did mention a couple episodes ago about the opportunity to record your family stories. I'm not going to go so deep into the details of it right now, but check out Red Trucks, get your family stories recorded. There's a lot of good stuff going on. We don't want to lose those stories as time passes us by. I do want to highlight today, it's a pretty special day for me because, and my guest is smiling at me, because in the 2 seasons that we've been on, I've not yet had a repeat guest. And not only is this my first repeat guest, I was on her podcast, she's been on my podcast, and now she's back on the podcast. And so now I'm going to pass it across the couch and let her introduce herself again.
Thank you. I just have to add a little note of I have gone back and listened to some of mine. And actually, ironically, it was you that we had to re-record because I didn't do something right. And so, right. You know, it is helpful to have a production team.
It is. I agree.
Well, I'm Sarah Dillon Jensen. I am the Market Maven, and I run the Snohomish Farmers Market. I have in the past run the Lake Stevens Farmers Market and Stanwood Farmers Market. Basically, all things farmers market is my life. And I'm happy to be here. And thank you for having me on as a repeat, first repeat.
Thank you so much. And again, I know I mentioned we don't have video, but yo, if you could see Sarah's glasses right now, they are fire. And I don't typically compliment glasses. I mean, I wear them myself, but I'm looking across here and I'm like, I might need a pair of those. Well,
they're customs. So I met
fancy.
This guy at like an indie art show. I do know a guy. CJ's my guy. Met him at a indie art show and he's like, you're too cool to wear glasses or to wear boring glasses or something like that. And I was like, I am. That's why I wear contacts. And he's like, but we do customs. And so I did a free consult with them. They meet over Zoom and it was really cool. And now I have 3 pair. And I get compliments on them everywhere I go. It's just a lot of fun to design your own pair and have something that nobody else has, which is kind of my MO and my style anyways. So
this is so true. You are super stylish.
Thanks.
And every once in a while, I'll catch your videos on social media where you're going through, whether it's your earrings or, you know, what outfit you're wearing for the day. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit and watch this because not that I'm going to try to model the style because not that dudes can't do the same stuff, but it's like we got a different style and flow and yours works for you, and I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It might be my fashion design degree, but you know.
Wasn't that see? The truth comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. The dark days.
Yeah. The dark days. Say more.
It's just, you have this dream as like a high schooler that fashion design is where it's at, moving from Alaska to California. Like, oh my gosh, Southern California, it's just going to be the best thing ever.
Right.
And then getting into it and realize, 1, how much work it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
2, getting hired in companies. I came to Washington straight after California because I wasn't a big SoCal fan. Getting hired for companies thinking that they have this kind of persona, like Eddie Bauer, for example.
Yeah.
And the inner workings of Eddie Bauer are just as unethical as any other like high fashion type of place. So copying things and make it cheaper, and we don't care what happens when they wash it. Like not so much Eddie Bauer, but some other brands that I worked for.
Yeah.
And the pay was absolute crap, but you're just creative on demand. It was like create 50 prints, create this, but make it different, make it fresh, make it fun. It's just this ever evolving, like churning of fashion. And I just got so done with it.
That's like so discouraging.
Yeah.
But you're really making me think about once upon a time, 2 years ago, plus years ago, when I decided to do the whole at-home-ish brand.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when I started up, I didn't know what I wanted it to be. But I know that when I was around the community and came up with the line of, oh, I feel at-home-ish in Snohomish. It's like, oh, you got to put that on a shirt. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. It was really about having a brand with a message, with a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when I met up with my wonderful producer, Trent, and we were trying to come up with a name for a podcast, it's like, dude, just do the thing that you're already doing. I'm like, oh, okay.
That tracks.
Right. And so, to go back to what you're saying about some companies where it's like, here's this brand that's all about nature and community and people. And then it's just like, okay, you grind it out and whatever. Mm-hmm. I believe in the authenticity. And if you're wearing our merch, that you really stand behind creating spaces where we belong. And that's what these stories are about,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got some horror stories about the office and just the things that were expected of us. But that's also, it leads into like the farmer's market. So we have some apparel, like some merch.
Yes.
And we were very conscientious about who we chose to do the printing and how we put the artwork on there. It was a local artist, did a design. And then we went through a Seattle company that, obviously gets the hoodies from somewhere, but they're higher quality. They're made in America. And then they print them locally. So when people are like, $40 for a hoodie. And I'm like, well, and I go through it's made locally. It supports the farmer's market. They're really soft.
Yeah.
The color's not going to bleed. I picked them myself, that kind of thing. And we've all worn test them. So there's that authenticity that I'm like, no, this is what we do as the Snohomish Farmers Market. And so that's obviously going to translate into any merchandise we sell. We're not just going to get tchotchkes for you to take home because that doesn't make sense. It doesn't align.
Yeah, it doesn't reflect on that whole supporting local concept. And so I really appreciate that. And I even went back and listened to our episode, and that was when I was still working here in Snohomish. And every Thursday, pretty much minus 1 or 2 during that season, I'm at the market. It's not that easy now, with my office being out of Everett, but I miss it. And I miss the community and seeing what people would bring. And it just it's really important that we support local. So if you're not in Snohomish, but you have a local farmers market or a little mom and pop store, support them.
Yes.
Because that's something that really helps support our communities.
Yeah, especially right now.
And that's one of the things where when I reflect on us, I mean, it was a short turnaround between us scheduling this and doing it because, and yes, this will probably air a couple weeks after some of the events that are happening right now. But this right now is such an important time for us to come together. Yeah.
I agree.
Wow.
Yeah. If January wasn't hard enough already, you add in the things that have happened this month already. It's just like every day I wake up and I'm like, is this the Hunger Games? I think it is. It might be.
Yeah, it feels really bizarre. And one thing that was weird for me is there are parts of me that can't believe that it's almost February because it's like, where did this month go? But then there's other parts of me that's like, how is this still just 1 month?
Same.
Like all the things that have happened over these past couple weeks and the highs and the lows have just been, I feel like so extreme and like it's just hard to wrap my head around it all.
Yeah. I agree. And it is giving me a little bit of that, for lack of a better term, PTSD. I don't officially have PTSD, but from COVID, when the world was just changing so drastically every day. And like the news was coming in every day, something different, a different rule, a different this, a different that. Being a farmer's market manager, I was just sitting there like, what do I do?
Right.
I don't know if it's happening, if we're allowed to happen, how it looks like if we do happen. Are we subjecting people, to COVID, all that kind of stuff? So it's giving a little bit of those vibes, even as early as last year, because we started seeing funding cuts coming down for like contracts that we would sign for this year, especially with our SNAP match funding. They were already telling us like next year it is going to be significantly lower. And it has been lowered every year since COVID. It used to be $40 matched each market day. Then it was 25. And now this year it's going to 10.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does that feed somebody? How does that support our farmers? Because SNAP benefits aren't just about feeding poor people. It's about giving them access to fresh, healthy foods, just like the rest of us have. And then giving incentive to actually shop locally by shopping and supporting their local farmers and their farmers market. And so we're kind of scrambling. And then our SNAP Ed program, which has previously run our Power of Produce, they were all laid off before the end of last season. And they finished out through, I think, mid-August. And then they actually gave us a little gift to say thank you for having them at the market for so many years. And I was just like, this is gutting me because they didn't know, they were all laid off. So they had no jobs. So then you end up funneling people back into a program like SNAP, because if they have no job, they're on unemployment, they're probably going to hit that income threshold. And so it's just this circle. And I'm like, it's not actually helping anybody.
Yeah. But, one thing that just really hits me right now, I have so many thoughts running through my mind because as well as I do what happened this past Sunday.
And I do.
And for those of you who don't know where our podcast is coming from, we are in the Pacific Northwest.
Seahawks.
Yes. And oh my gosh, yes, I'm so excited. I only watched half of the game and I'll tell you why in a minute. I can't help but be excited because I'm a football fan.
Yep.
I played the game. I coached the game. I watched the game. And so for the home team, because that's where I live now, even from Atlanta, so go Falcons too. Dirty Birds. I support the Seahawks. I struggled deeply when I saw in the news that you can't get a ticket to that game for under I think $7,000. I think I saw
The Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we laugh at that for a second? Because if you want to go watch the game in person, you're going to have to come up with thousands of dollars. And let's say to get into the game, get to the game, you're going to get merch for the game, eat at the game. What can we say? $10,000 a person?
Easy.
Okay,
easy.
$10,000. But then now we're saying $10 for SNAP.
Yep. I know. I struggled with it too, doing one of my outfits of the day, after Saturday happened, and Sunday I'm getting ready for the game. And I'm like, here's my dumb outfit I'm wearing to the game, which I'm really excited about, but I'm super conflicted about being excited while people are dying on film.
Ooh,
I was just like, how do I do this? But I was just like, no, maybe this is the thing that somebody wants to see today to get their mind off of it. Because when I went to the game on Sunday, we were lucky enough to get to go.
Yes.
Very privileged to be able to go. I was like, I just need to check out for a while. I need to get out of reality for a little bit and watch this team. And then there was also the chance of extreme high or heartbreak, however that outcome happened. But then I woke up Monday morning and it just hit me all back again. I'm like, we're going to the Super Bowl and people are dying. And I don't know how I'm going to come up with funding to help some of our customers that we know and we love and we've seen year after year, and know that on some random social media thread, they're being accused of fraud or they're taking advantage of the system or something like that. And I'm like, that's just not happening from my purview.
Right. But I'm glad you mentioned the up and down and, the stuff, because like I mentioned, I only watched part of the game. And it was because the Harlem Globetrotters were in town. And I know some people are like, wait a minute, are they still around? Yes, they're still around, but it's not the same players that some of us of a certain age may have been familiar with, like Meadowlark Lemon and Curly and all those folks. They have people who rotate in and out, but they still do the crazy tricks and, the audience participation. But this year was super special because it's their 100-year celebration. And I thought to myself, the Seahawks are in the NFC Championship. And this is what their fourth time being in it.
Yeah.
At least. And they might go to the Super Bowl. Well, they actually did in this situation. And I thought to myself, I so want to support the Seahawks. But then I thought about the Harlem Globetrotters and how this is something that started in 1926. So here are these African-American basketball players in the 20s. Okay. That's 30 years before the civil rights movement.
Right.
Yeah. And they're going around the world playing basketball, doing these tricks, and it was for everybody. It's about family, about community. And it's like, that's kind of what I needed on that day.
Yeah.
To be a part of that. And it was over like right around halftime in the game. So I still got to watch it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But, I'm so glad that we got to see each other earlier this week and schedule this time, because even looking at the theme of our previous episode on my podcast, it was conversations that are difficult-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you and I have, well, one, the episode that we didn't actually get recorded, then the one we recorded, then this one. We're used to talking with each other.
Yeah.
And one of the messages I shared in that last episode was find people who are, whether it's your bestie, whether it's your boo, and talk about what's challenging and how we can either, one, work through it or improve it. That's where the conversation starts. So I'm glad to have you back here today as we're coming off of this weekend where another person lost their life in Minneapolis after someone just 2 weeks ago lost their life in Minneapolis. And, a lot of the work that we're focused on is someone who 6 years ago lost their life in Minneapolis.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Minnesotans, like they've got a lot on their plate.
They're going through it.
They are going through it.
Ooh.
But I'm proud of them. I'm proud from what I'm seeing, and even just the person that did just lose his life. Like he lost his life protecting somebody else, which I think is what everybody's trying to cling to right now, and just say like, it doesn't condone it by any means, but at least he was doing the thing, that we're all kind of taught to do in some way, shape or form.
Right. I don't want to get too deep into the video because I'm sure people have seen it or not.
Yeah.
But it's hard when we think about the things that we feel we need to do, when we think about what our rights are supposed to be, and then you see things happen completely opposite of that, it feels like, And even just now when you were talking about COVID and not being sure if you'd be able to have the market or if it'd be safe, in my work around equity, inclusion, social justice, and wanting people to show up and seeing some of the things that are currently happening with the federal government or with ICE agents and who's being detained or not, or what's going on. It's like, is it safe to talk about anything? Is it safe to show up? Are we going to be okay? And then hearing what was happening in Maine and in Minneapolis and maybe other cities I just hadn't heard. I know Maine is a state, but it's like things that have happened in other communities. It's like people knocking on doors. And so are you not safe being at home, much less having an event? Everything's so up in the air.
Yeah.
But I feel like when we talk about the theme of this podcast specifically, creating spaces where we belong and feeling at home-ish, it's impossible to feel at home-ish or feel that you belong when you don't have safety and security for just existing.
Yep, absolutely. And it's also something that you have to think about, food is a human right.
Yes.
And so we're talking about food access too. And not being certain of that, not being certain of how you're going to feed your family, let alone where you're going to stay with your family, being at home, you're not even safe there anymore.
Right.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so scary. And I think what people don't really understand is that immigrants and people that, work low paying jobs and things like that, they're literally the backbone of our communities. And if they all disappear, it's going to be pretty hard to have the things that are considered more luxury or even just have organic produce or, have your lawn manicured. I mean, honestly, I don't understand how people aren't putting two and two together.
Right. It is interesting when I think about a lot of the jobs that, one, some people don't want to do, or two, they don't have the skills or the time to do. Like, here are the people that want to do it, have the skills to do it. Why are we making this so difficult?
Yeah.
And I mean, we're going to get into some more conversations about what are some steps that we can have to work to resolve it. But I am deeply challenged and I find it almost humorous with some of the rhetoric. And one of the big ones being, well, we want to make sure that we're addressing this because they're stealing our jobs. Thank you for laughing. Yes.
I work with farmers for 6 months out of the year in person, like face to face, and then for the other 6 months online. And I don't know any one of those farmers that is like overabundantly staffed.
Yeah.
They never have enough people. They never have people that want to actually do the work. Even just having market helpers like that come and set up and sell the berries or sell the produce, that in and of itself is not a job that a lot of people want anymore.
Right.
It's just fascinating to me that that rhetoric is out there because seeing it firsthand, I mean, in the past, I've seen grandmothers and abuelas, you know, working the farm stand and had been out picking all morning since 4 a.m.
Right.
The flower vendors, the Hmong families that we have at Snohomish.
Yeah.
They show up before I even show up.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And they wait for me to like get the road closed so it's safe for them. But they're out there 4 a.m. Back breaking work.
Yes.
Bent over, picking flowers, their hands, you know, like nobody wants that job. I don't see people knocking down the doors for that job.
No, but you bring up a really good point there. And there's something else I want to add to it in a second. But I was at a rap concert in Olympia years ago. This was like early 2000s, KRS-One. But he was doing a freestyle rap and he was talking about, you know, jobs being outsourced and people taking jobs. I mean, this was over 20 years ago now. I mean, how are we still having some of the same conversations about these topics and people using the same rhetoric? But he's like, imagine saying that someone is stealing your job when the corporations are the ones who are outsourcing jobs overseas to people who live in different countries where the native language of that country is not English. These people have taken the time to learn English and connect it with these corporations to learn these jobs to do the work. And it's like, if someone is taking that job, it's because they're putting forth the effort to do that type of work.
Yeah. And because the corporation is wanting to cut costs and it's way easier to do that by contracting overseas.
Yes.
And we're still in that time frame, right? Now we're talking about AI. It's not even people at this point in time. It's AI taking away work to a certain extent.
To an extent, yes.
But Amazon's laying off, Microsoft's laying off, all of these companies that like Seattle was built on.
Yeah.
They're laying off and they're shipping the work overseas.
Yeah. And here's what's so hard, because I don't want to get canceled. Corporations don't come and like, you know, the algorithms like that at home. She's like, you know, anarchy and we want to stop everything. Because like, here's the thing. If we don't support Amazon and Microsoft and Google and Walmart.
Cough, Walmart.
Yeah. Get Walmart. Don't cancel us. There are people that are employed by them.
Yep.
And so if their profit margins start to dwindle because people aren't shopping there, now some of these people who are actually, some of them still relying on SNAP benefits could even lose their jobs because the corporations, they can't afford to keep them. Yeah, I said it. But they will lay them off to ensure that they're still having the same type of profits, which is so challenging. So I'm not saying to not shop at these places, though I don't tend to. Okay. But then don't cancel me. Don't cancel me. Come on. Let's have the conversation.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
Let's talk about this, because I feel like there is enough wealth and abundance for everyone. If we have people who have, I don't even know yacht measurements because that's not even my world. But if you've got this 100-foot yacht, you're like, and someone doesn't have a home to live in, like let's really talk about our priorities and putting people over profits.
Yep.
You know, it's
absolutely.
Well, I could just ramble on and on and on about that. But what I did want to go back to when we were going off in the conversation of outsourcing and AI and like who's doing what and stealing jobs. Several centuries ago, when this country was being built, there were people of European descent who were here.
Mm-hmm.
There were indigenous people who were here in this country. There weren't a whole bunch of people with a bunch of melanin in their skin that came and stole the jobs and worked the land for free for centuries.
Right? Yep. The thing that nobody wants to hear.
Yeah. And even when we talk about the original inhabitants of this land, the Mexican border came up through California, and I think it wasn't even Oregon part of that. I can't remember exactly how far the Mexico was before this country existed, but it was like, it's like people didn't cross the border crossed them. They were here. And then the natural lands where they would come and work. Oh, well, now we have these laws that make you illegal. And it's like, I was here before you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of layers to some of the situations we're dealing with now, where we have laws that have been put into place that are identifying people as illegal and working to move them out of what's established here when they've been here for millennia.
And then we built a country on the fact that we are a melting pot.
No, stop.
And then, we built a country on the foundation of give us you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry. And now we're cutting benefits and we're disqualifying people because they have a different color skin and they're poor. That's the whole point of America.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it give us your tie, you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry, and let's keep them that way?
Yeah, maybe. It could be. It feels that way right now. That's for sure.
It feels that way. Yeah.
And to go back to your other point too, I'm not anti-Amazon. I'm not anti-establishment necessarily. I ordered something
from Amazon the other day.
I mean, I do all the time. Like, how we get our dog food. Like
some of my friends order from Amazon.
Yeah. And I do use AI as well to help do my job better.
Trent uses AI.
Pointing the fingers at you, Trent. It's meant to be a tool, but it's not meant to replace, right? I would love to see AI replace like the machines going out and getting all the garbage from the ocean. Like that would be a really great use of AI instead of copying people's art or creating videos that look like humans, but they're not actually humans. You know what I mean? Like, let's use it for good. It's not that any of these things are bad. Let's just use it for good. And for Amazon, maybe Jeff Bezos doesn't need to make, I don't know what it is, 5,000 times % of his lowest paid employee. Like maybe we just come up with different solutions. We can't keep going through life. Like you were saying 20 years ago, 50 years ago, all of these years ago, we've had the same problems, right? Let's get creative, come together and come up with solutions. But this whole, like, we've always done it this way, so therefore that's just how we're going to stay doing it. It's not working. Like the system is so broken.
So broken.
It has been broken.
Yeah. And it's funny, we mentioned 60 years ago again, because as we were talking about Bezos and Jeff, I got nothing against you. Matter of fact, if you're listening or someone knows you, let's get you on the podcast one day.
Exactly.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah. I'd love to see him at the farmer's market.
Yes.
I'll give him a tote.
That would be awesome. So again, Jeff, hit us up.
Yeah,
okay.
So much.
But when it comes to Jeff and Elon and Richard Branson, okay, it was roughly 60 years ago, 50, 60 years ago, Gil Scott-Heron, there's this spoken word piece that's called Whitey's on the Moon.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because it was like around the time of the space race and, the landing on the moon. And I can't remember the lyrics specifically. We'll have to like link it when the podcast comes out. But he's like, I can't pay my rent today, but Whitey's on the moon. Like, I ain't got no food today, but Whitey's on the moon.
Yeah.
And so as we talk about these individuals that have so many billions of dollars and they're building these rockets and they're going up into space where now we have celebrity astronauts.
Oh my God. Don't get me started on that.
We won't go there because I don't want to get canceled by them either. But if they want to come on the podcast and they're listening, come to Snohomish. We'd love to have you. Katy
Perry is not invited to my podcast.
What?
Mm-mm.
I love some of her songs, though.
No, you can like her music. I'm not going to diss you for it, but that girl and her stupid flower on a spaceship, no. just saying no.
But I do have a fun Katy Perry story that I'll share.
That's fine.
Okay.
I won't judge you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to share the story. I'm just going to do that first.
Okay.
So this is when I was working in, oh my God, this was Puyallup. This was so many years ago now. This would have been 2011 because I was still a paraeducator and I had just gotten my teaching certificate. Excuse me, let me back it up. I was working to finish up my coursework for my teaching certificate. Mm-hmm. But with the way things were going down, and when you're coming out of school, you're looking at jobs in advance, right? Oh, yeah. And so I remember the Kent School District was recruiting me, Tacoma School District, Federal Way. I was meeting Tacoma. I was meeting with all kind of folks, but I was working in Puyallup at the time. And I remember meeting with one of our directors, and they're like, "Do you want to work in Puyallup?" And I was like, "I'm here now, but if you got a job for me, let's figure it out."
Yeah.
But ended up getting a job in Puyallup. But with that job, I was going to have to leave my role as a paraeducator early in the school year, mm-hmm. right? And so I was working in a special education program, and there were students with moderate to severe cognitive delays and needs. And the day that was going to be my last day, they're like, "Oh, we're going to have a going away for you." And I was like, okay, cool. And I'm, going through the regular work day because that's what we have to do, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's going to be in the room in this time. And when I walk into the room, Katy Perry's Firework is playing.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
And the kids had this little skit and they're singing the song. And, it's like, "You're a firework." I can't remember the lyrics right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Katy, if you're listening. And if you're listening, come on the podcast. But anyway, they're singing the song Firework. And I'm like crying because I'm like, I really felt it because I felt up to that point I had worked so hard to try to elevate myself and, be contributing to the world and all mm-hmm. that good stuff. And so for these kids to be singing this song and playing this, I'm like, I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had a guest also from season 1 where their song was Roar.
Oh, nice.
And so that's another one that stands out to me. That's a Katy Perry song.
Yep.
And yeah. And so, we ain't hating on everybody, but everybody don't need to be cool with everybody. It's all good.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can still exist in the same world. It's totally okay.
We can. Yeah. And you know what? And Whitey's on the moon. It's like we got agents detaining people and the Seahawks are in the Super Bowl.
I know. And I think existing in that state of like the high from the game on Sunday and then, the low from Saturday and then what's next, it's exhausting. Like I think everybody's central nervous systems, like most of us that are just like humans, not some of the other, but are just like, it's just exhausting. And I know I have friends who have like ADHD or depression and it's even more amplified for them because they're just like, how do I create when there's this horrible stuff going on? How do I continue to market myself? Mm-hmm. And like, how do I do a podcast? Like I didn't even do a podcast this week because I was like, I don't really know what to say. That's not going to get me in deep trouble, or it's just a 30-minute rant from me, which I'm apt to do sometimes. Sometimes. But I also have to play it safe too, because I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah.
Especially not in this climate.
No. And that's what I often tell people. I've had like a different type of energy coming into 26. And I tell them that my filter is ajar. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not off because I need my job.
Yeah.
I need my job. Okay. Because the podcast ain't paying me. Not yet. But if we can get Katy Perry and Bezos and Russell Wilson, like, come on, y'all, get on here. Let's get paid. But it's like, I still need my job. I want to keep a roof over my head because I just bought a house.
Yep.
And speaking of roof, Climb Roofing, thank you for putting a roof on my house. I still got to pay them too, and keep food on the table. And so we can't have the filters fully off, which also goes back to the theme of the podcast about being at home-ish. Because when you're at home, you kick your shoes off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put on your sweats or not if you choose to. I ain't judging. Yeah. Close your curtains, But it's like when you're at home, you get to be you. You ain't got to worry about what nobody else is thinking. You can just chill. You don't have to put on the performance. Even if you invite somebody into your house,
Yep.
you still get to be you.
Yeah.
But when we talk about in the society as a whole, and let's back up, let's toss that ish on there, because I ain't gonna be walking around barefoot on First Street.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, so, I'm not just going to go into my supervisor's office and just say whatever, even though they say, hey, if you got something on your mind, say it. Come on.
Mm-hmm. They don't mean 100% filter off.
They mean filter-ish. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a hard line to walk when you feel very passionate about things, as I think that both of us do, and have strong opinions that we're tampering down, we're filtering ish here. It's hard because you want to do the thing. I am kind of an emotional reactor. I'm like, oh, like that bothers me. I want to post about it so that maybe I can change somebody's mind today. But the reality is that doesn't happen. And what you do is you lose followers, or you lose customers, or people are also reactionary on the other side. So if the farmers market makes a statement, we've already done it where I've tried to be very neutral, but we've talked about SNAP funding even last year, and people were like, who cares? Or like they commented like, who cares? And this and this. And so I do try to educate within those comments, but at a certain point, it just becomes exhausting, right? Trying to change their reactionary with my reactionary, and then it just starts spinning. And that's not helpful for anybody. And it's not changing their mind.
No. And what you're making me think about right now is the capacity with followers and filters. Because I'm going to go back to the Seahawks for a second.
Yep.
So let's say one of our receivers misses a pass, or even with the quarterback, throws an incompletion. Okay, that happened. Darn, I'm not happy with it, but there's going to be another play, right? It's not the whole game. And then even if they lose that game, okay, well, there's a whole season to go. They could still bounce back. I mean, they lost 3 games this season. Oh, really? I can't believe they lost 3 games. But you know what nobody's thinking about right now?
Those 3 games.
Those 3 games.
Yep.
They're thinking about, we're going to the Super Bowl. Oh my God, this is so great. But
I can tell you, being at that game, every mistake that was made, boy, did the crowd let them know. And I was just kind of like, imagine if you had that kind of microscope on you every single day.
Yeah.
But people are now, as you're talking about, not being able to be at home and feel safe. Like there is that microscope.
Totally. Yes.
You can't leave. Is your skin a different color? Do you look XYZ? Is ice in your neighborhood? You know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy times.
It's crazy to think that we're in that space right now, because I was talking with someone who said they had a colleague in Minneapolis, and they had mentioned that, well, how do I want to say this? That there were some people who were fearful, and that they were actually they had people staying with them because they didn't want to be in their own home out of fear that someone might come looking for them at their house. And it's like, holy crap. Does this not sound like the 30s, 40s in Germany?
Nazi Germany.
Where people are hiding folks? Or even when I would go, have you been to Savannah, Georgia before?
No.
Okay, you got to go there. It's beautiful.
I'm not a South girl. It's too hot.
Go now, because it's colder.
Sure.
It's colder there now than it is here.
That sounds perfect then.
See? But there's places, and not just Savannah, but places in the South where they had the plantations.
Yeah.
And there's also places that, going north that were stops on the Underground Railroad, where as enslaved people were escaping bondage, there were people along the way that would hide them in their homes so that the slave patrols could not catch them.
Right.
And so let's be real here. Okay. We are right now in 2026 where people are trying to hide people to protect them from agents detaining them, which is similar to Nazi Germany, which is similar to the United States in the 1800s.
Yep. And how people aren't making those correlations. And then you also I think about the details when you're talking about hiding somebody in their house. They don't feel safe staying in their own home.
Yeah.
They have a home, which means they've got utilities, they're paying rent or mortgage or any of those types of things. Like, how are we saying that these are not productive members of society? They're probably working 1 or 2 jobs, minimal 2 probably.
And doing jobs people don't want to do.
And doing jobs people don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Like, why are these the people?
Yeah.
Simply because we're on this mission. Like, I'm totally fine with like criminals being punished for what they've done.
Yes.
100%. And I don't know how being more progressive leads me down the path of being accused of being like a crime supporter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people are paying taxes. They're paying their bills. They're working. They're part of working class America. And we're still having to hide them.
Yes.
In our houses. That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I want to add another part to that story. I had a friend of mine in a text thread say that, I can't remember who it was that's connected to him, but that someone came and knocked on the door of their house. Okay. And it was federal agents.
Oof.
And they were looking for someone, but they were looking for the previous owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so how scary is that?
Yeah.
The story that I had heard was it was a kid who there was a knock at the door and they opened the door.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, yeah, no, they're not here.
Yeah.
And it was fine. So thank you to the agents who, knocked on the door, asked for whoever. And then when they weren't there, they went on about their business.
Yeah.
But how scary is it that you could be at home minding your own business and they're coming looking for somebody else. And maybe even depending on how you look when you open the door.
Yeah.
Things go south because it just seems so crazy right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've told my farmers, I told them last year when we kind of were getting training on what this looks like from our membership organization, the Washington State Farmers Market Association. We were just starting to talk about these types of things and what do we do? What do we have the rights to do?
Yeah.
And I told any of my farmers who presented other than white, whether that's Black, Hispanic, Hmong, I said, I will get in front of them before I will get in front of you and I will not let them take you without a fight. I've always wished I could be arrested for something. And this seems like the best way to meet that goal for my life.
I hear you. Can we just channel our inner Luke Skywalker right now, though? And what comes to mind is, I ain't trying to fight nobody. I've told stories before about sitting across from someone when we were having a lot of beverages and them looking at me like, man, I'd never fight you. Like, you're just too big. I'm like, oh, okay. And then pulls out a gun, basically saying, oh, wait a minute. That escalated too quickly. So based on my size and sometimes my melanin, I ain't trying to fight nobody, right? Yeah. But if I could just do a simple force wave, these are not the droids you're looking for. And
yes. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Never wanted a superpower more than I want that one right now.
Yeah, we need the force.
Yep.
But, one of the things I want to talk about real quick, because I do want people to, when they leave this podcast, to leave thinking about different ways to perhaps engage in a conversation or take action. I grew up as one of those people who traditionally respects authority, respects law. And I know that the law and authority have not always been there for all people. And so that really calls on people to better understand civic engagement and how to work with their elected officials and law enforcement. I actually met with someone in law enforcement earlier today and even met with someone who's a civic leader to talk about what are we doing in our communities to support all of our people. And now to take that to another level, yes, we absolutely want to support people here. And let's keep in mind, people are coming here either one, to access opportunity or to escape persecution and oppression. So how can we as a global community now engage in conversations where it's like, well, what does it mean to not necessarily take a president out of a country, but what does it mean to improve the situations within that country so that people can have access to what they want and need in that space, and they're not coming up in my house, whether, especially by any means other than a predefined, easy to navigate process.
Right.
Did I say that politically correct enough?
I think so. You did a really good job.
See, my filter is partly on.
It's ish. It's on ish.
Filtered ish.
I think that one of the ways that we can engage in more productive conversations is to stay curious.
Yes.
And to listen for the intent of listening, not listen for the intent of answering. Because I think social media has definitely put us in this vibe of listen to react and answer, like, or prove somebody wrong, supposedly. And I'm using very loose air quotes because what's wrong anymore? I don't even know that we can trust any news source to not be biased or not to have some painted version of the truth. So I think staying curious and even talking about the news, if you want to know what's going on, like find a few different sources that supposedly are, left, right, independent, and then kind of take away from that what you can. But if you're just having conversations with people, with other businesses, with people you want to support, like curiosity, I think is the best way to go. I mean, obviously kindness too, but just curiosity. Yeah. I don't know what I can do right now other than just what I'm doing and plugging on with like the farmer's market for this summer. That's my little happy place. Hopefully that brings community together. Hopefully it showcases all of the different diversity that we have. We've built some guardrails around our organization to make sure that like those are our foundation with help from Megan from HDSA. Nice. It was really awesome to like have that, and everybody agreed on it. Everybody in this group retreat that we did from all walks of life, all colors of skin, agreed on it. That seems like the best way for us to move forward. And it's not much. It's not protesting. It's not videoing. It's not any of that kind of stuff, but it's what we can do right now. And I think sometimes those small steps are the things that can make the biggest impact and not drain everybody emotionally.
I agree. And I often tell people, know your capacity and understand your role. Not that you can't have concerns outside of that, or perhaps, dabble in some things. But if you aren't doing the thing that you're most capable of and people expect you to do, then you're leaving that lane open.
Yep.
And so a lot of people will ask me, so Will, what are you doing? I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my job. I need you to do yours. And whoever is next to you and next to them and next to them, show up and do what you know you're capable of doing and support one another. But that's where I feel it's so important. Now I'm going to shout out some community organizations because I've been interacting with Rotary a lot recently, and just some of the conversations I've been able to have with people there. And a lot of them are in their 70s and 80s, which is awesome. But then there's also some people who are there younger than me. And to see people coming together for community is really powerful. So I want to see more of that. So whether it's Rotary, Lions, Kiwanis, the Chambers, there's a lot of people and a lot of opportunity to, even if it's not talking with those whole groups, talking with people from those groups and making the difference we can.
Yeah. I think that it also just, you can boil it down to just simple relationships too.
Yes.
Not writing people off because you saw one thing on their social media one time.
No,
I've had that happen in my own friend group of like, won't even give this person the time of day because of something they assumed or saw or whatever, have never having a conversation with them. One of my best friends is Mormon. We have vastly different beliefs. And yet every time we come to the table to talk, we're respectful. Sometimes we agree to disagree, but she's told me so many times that I've opened her mind to such different ways of thinking. And she's done the exact same thing for me. And if we don't even allow that opportunity in and stay curious and have those conversations, then I think we're failing big time.
I agree. Yeah. This episode was a little bit different than what we've done before because we've talked several times.
It's true.
And so it wasn't so much about getting to know us and our story. We're actually talking about things that are happening in the world right now that don't help us to feel at home-ish and feel like we belong, because we're kind of left wondering what's next and what to do. But I hope for listeners that you heard something or several things that you can do to create a space where you belong and where others belong. And, just keep doing that work. But I'm not going to let you off the hook because I'm not going to ask this typical question.
Okay.
But when we think about what's happening in the world right now, what would be a song that you listen to that just helps to put your mind at ease and at rest?
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Man, I don't know artists very often. And I don't know the song titles very often.
Okay.
But I was painting the other night because I'm trying to turn more towards art instead of scrolling.
Yeah.
You know, I have essentially an art degree, and this painting wasn't looking right. And my friend that I was just talking about, she's like, well, why don't you put a quote or something on there? And I was like, oh, okay. And I put a quote, but I first went to look up the song, and it was Sky Full of Stars by Coldplay.
Yes.
And ironically, there's not a whole lot of lyrics other than "You're a sky full of stars." So I was like, well, that didn't work out. But I ended up going with a quote that was essentially about, like, it's only in the dark of night that you can see the brightness of the stars.
Yes, I remember
believe
that
it's
one.
a Vincent van Gogh quote. And that just really kind of hit me. So I'll tie those two together because I'm not really good with coming up with my library of songs. But Coldplay, Sky Full of Stars, thinking of Van Gogh.
Okay. And that's the second Coldplay song you did, because I think Atlas was the one from the last one.
Yes, it was for the first one.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Hey.
Showing my Coldplay fandom.
I know. And so Coldplay, if
yeah,
you're
you want to come on the Market
listening.
Maven podcast, you are more than welcome to. I will gladly have you.
For the celebrity season of the At Home-ish podcast.
Celebrity-ish.
Right. And I know I've been like adding songs in when I've done episodes lately. And mine isn't necessarily one that brings me peace or calm, but it's just really reflective of the state of mind that I'm in right now. And that's Childish Gambino, This Is America.
Okay.
Because when I watch that video and I hear that song, whew, yeah, here's this person in the foreground who's singing and dancing, and there's people dancing with him in the song. And then everything that's happening in the background where it's like, okay, here's a police chase. Here's some sort of criminal activity. Here's people with their cell phones recording what's going on. And it's like, if that's not accurate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super accurate.
Super accurate. All right. So gave y'all a lot to digest in this episode. Sarah, thank you so much for being on. I always enjoy seeing you, whether it's at the market or in the community. I'm so glad that you're a part of the Snohomish Podcast Network.
Me too. Very much.
Lots of great stuff coming out of that group. Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
I don't think so. Just
Okay.
come out to the market. It's your happy place. It's your Seahawks NFC Championship game where you can just go and maybe forget about things for a little while this summer.
Yeah. Sometimes good to forget about things.
Yeah, just check out for a little bit.
Yeah. So maybe we won't wise up and rise up this time. We're going to just chill out and be easy.
There we go.
Peace out.